There are places in this world where legends go to die, not the kind written in history books or sung in ballads, but the living kind, men whose names are whispered in the shadows, spoken with equal parts reverence and terror, men who've carved their legacy in blood and bone, who've danced with death so many times they know its rhythm by heart. John Wick had been one of those men, the Baba Yaga, the boogeyman, the man you sent to kill the boogeyman. But that was before Helen, before love gave him a reason to walk away, before he learned that life could be measured in quiet mornings and gentle laughter instead of body counts and contracts. After Helen died, John had tried again, tried to honor her memory by staying in the light she'd brought to his darkness. He'd rebuild his house, the one they dreamed about together. He'd kept her memory alive in every corner, every photograph, every moment of silence. And for a while, it worked. The dog, another gift from Helen, a second chance of companionship, had grown. The wound of her loss had scarred over, though it never truly healed. John had found something resembling peace. Not happiness, not joy, but a quiet existence where the ghosts only visited at night. 3 years. 3 years of almost normal. Then the envelope arrived. It came on a Tuesday morning, hand-delivered by a courier in an immaculate suit. No return address. Just his name written in calligraphy that belonged to another century, another world. John knew what it was before he opened it. The weight, the texture, the faint scent of wax and old promises. A marker, blood red, sealed with the emblem he'd hoped never to see again. He sat on his porch, the dog at his feet, and turned the envelope over in his hands. In the Continental, in the world beneath the world, a marker was sacred. Absolute. You could no more refuse it than you could refuse gravity or death. He broke the seal. Inside was a card with an address and a time. Nothing else. But the handwriting, elegant, precise, told him everything he needed to know. Sophia, from Casablanca, the woman whose daughter he'd saved years ago, earning him a marker he'd thought she'd never call in. The woman who'd told him she owed him 2 bullets because one wasn't enough for what he'd done for her. Now she was calling in the debt. John looked at his dog, at his house, at the life he'd tried so desperately to preserve. Then he stood, went inside, and opened the safe hidden beneath the floor of his basement. The past never stays buried. Not for men like him. The address led to a warehouse in Newark. Industrial. Forgotten. The kind of place where the city's shadows pool deep enough to drown in. John arrived at midnight, as instructed, armed but not expecting trouble. Sophia was waiting inside, standing in a pool of light surrounded by darkness. She looked older. They both did. Worn by the way of the life, they couldn't quite escape. Her dog sat at her feet, disciplined and deadly. "John," she said, no warmth, no nostalgia, just business. "Sophia, I'm here. I know you are." She gestured to a chair. "Sit. We need to talk about why I called in the marker." John remained standing. "Tell me?" Sophia's jaw tightened. "My daughter, Anya. She's 19 now. Smart. Beautiful. Everything I wanted her to be. Everything I wanted to protect her from becoming." She paused, and John saw something crack in her armor. She was taken 3 days ago, snatched off a street in Paris by a crew working for Lucien Volkov. John's expression didn't change, but something cold moved behind his eyes. The arms dealer. The same. He's moved into human trafficking. High-value targets. Ransoming them back to families in our world. People who can't go to the police. People like me. Sophia's voice went hard. He sent me a message. Said he knows who I am. What I am. That he'll release Anya for $10 million and a marker. My marker. The one I gave to the Ruscaroma before I left. That marker's worth more than money. I know, which is why I can't give it to him. It would give him leverage over the entire Ruska hierarchy. Access to resources that would make him untouchable. She met John's eyes. "But I can't lose my daughter. I won't. So I'm calling in your marker. Get her back. Kill Volkov. End this." John was quiet for a long moment. "Where is she?" Sophia pulled out a folder. slid it across a nearby table. Budapest. Volkov's moving her tomorrow. They're taking her east, into Russia. Once she crosses that border, she's gone. Even you won't be able to reach her. John opened the folder. Surveillance photos. Building layouts. Guard rotations. Sophia had done her homework. Volkov has 30 men in that building. Ex-military. Well-armed. And he's paranoid since he started making enemies in our world. He'll be expecting trouble. How long do I have? 18 hours. Maybe less. John closed the folder, looked at Sophia, saw the desperate calculation in her eyes. The mother war with the assassin, the woman who'd lived by the code now asking him to break it for her. The marker will be honored, John said quietly. I'll bring her home. Sophia's shoulders sagged with relief. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Budapest at night is beautiful. The Danube reflecting city lights like scattered diamonds, the bridges glowing against darkness. But John wasn't there for the view. The building where Volkov kept his operations was a renovated factory on the Pest side. 4 stories, single entrance, roof access. Textbook defensible position, which meant textbook approach wouldn't work. John spent 2 hours on reconnaissance, then made his move at 3 a.m. He entered through the sewers, old communist-era tunnels that still connected to the building's subterranean level. It smelled like rot and standing water, but it got him inside undetected. The first guard died silently, a knife to the kidney, hand over mouth, lowered gently to the ground. John took his key card and radio, then moved deeper into the building. He found Anya on the 3rd floor, locked in what used to be a foreman's office. She was terrified but unharmed, and when John put a finger to his lips, she had the good sense to stay silent. Your mother sent me, he whispered, cutting her zip-tie restraints with a blade. Stay close. Stay quiet. Do exactly what I say. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Getting in had been the easy part. Getting out would be harder. They made it to the 2nd floor before the alarm sounded. A guard had found the body John left behind. Suddenly, the building erupted with shouting, running footsteps, weapons being chambered. Stay behind me, John said, drawing his Glock. What happened next was what John Wick did best. What made his legend. What made grown men in the underworld check their closets before sleeping. He moved through that building like a ghost made flesh, like violence given purpose. Guards came at him from hallways and doorways, and each one fell. Headshots, center mass, precise and efficient. He cleared rooms with brutal economy, protected Anya with his body, reloaded while moving. A guard grabbed Anya from behind. John put a round to the man's eye socket without hesitating. So close the muzzle flash illuminated Anya's terrified face. Keep moving. They reached the ground floor, 10 men between them, and the exit. John pushed Anya behind a pillar, then stepped into the open. Volkov, he shouted. I'm here for the girl. Send her out, and maybe I let some of your men live. Laughter echoed from somewhere in the darkness. Jonathan Wick, I wonder when you'd appear. Sophia's attack dog, coming to fetch her puppy. Last chance. You're outnumbered, outgunned. You may be good, but you're not bulletproof. John's smile was cold. No, but I'm motivated. The gunfight that followed will be dissected by underworld experts for months afterward. How John Wick, protecting a civilian, fought his way through 10 trained killers. How he used angles, cover, and pure aggression to even impossible odds. How he moved like the Reaper himself had taken human form. When the smoke cleared, 9 men were dead. The 10th, Volkov's lieutenant, was on his knees, weapon gone, hands raised. Where's Volkov? John demanded. Gun to the man's head. Gone. Ran when the shooting started. He's a coward who... John pulled the trigger. Stepped over the body. Found Anya still hiding behind the pillar. Shaking but alive. We're leaving. Now. They made it to the extraction point where Sophia's people were waiting. As Anya ran to the car, John started to follow, then stopped. Because Lucien Volkov was standing 30 feet away, flanked by 4 more guards, a rifle aimed at John's chest. You're good, Wick. Better than I expected. But this ends now. You cost me millions. Embarrass me. So I'm going to kill you. Then I'm going to kill Sophia. Then I'm going to take that girl again, and... John's draw was faster. 3 shots, 2 guard dropped. Volkov's rifle clattered to the ground as he clutched his shoulder, screaming. John walked forward, put the gun to Volkov's head. You threaten a child. In our world, that means you're already dead. You just didn't know it yet. Wait, I have money, connections. Some debts can only be paid in blood. The gunshot echoed across the empty lot. John delivered Anya to Sophia at a safe house in Vienna. Mother and daughter collapsed into each other, crying, holding tight to what they'd almost lost. Sophia approached John as he was leaving. The marker is honored. You're free of the debt. Good. John, she hesitated. Thank you, for my daughter, for not hesitating. John looked at her, and for just a moment, something human flickered in his eyes. Helen would have wanted me to help. She always believed in protecting the innocent. She'd be proud of you. No, John said quietly. She'd be sad that I'm still doing this, that I can't seem to stay away. He walked out into the Vienna night, alone except for his ghosts. 1 week later, John was back in his house. The dog greeted him enthusiastically, unaware of where he'd been or what he'd done. John fed him, then sat on the porch with a glass of bourbon, watching the sun set over property he'd rebuilt twice now. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. The table appreciates your service in removing Volkov. Marker forgiven. Your excommunicado status remains lifted. John deleted the message. He'd told himself this was the last time, that he'd honored the marker, and now he was truly free, that he could finally rest. But he knew the truth, had always known it, the same truth that haunted every man who'd ever walked his path. There is no retirement from a life. There are only intermissions, brief moments of peace between the storms. Borrowed time before the next debt comes due. The next marker gets called in. The next ghost comes knocking. He'd buried his past more times than he could count, but the past always brought a shovel. John Wick finished his bourbon, went inside, and locked the door. Upstairs, hidden in the closet of his bedroom, his weapons waited. Clean, oiled, ready, because they always came back. The debts, the markers, the blood. And when they did, he'd be ready. That was the curse of being a legend. You could never stop being what you were. The world wouldn't let you. The life wouldn't let you. The Baba Yaga could rest. But he could never truly sleep. In a world governed by blood oaths and ancient codes, there are no happy endings. Only survivors. Only legends who walk the line between the living and the dead. Forever caught between the light they crave and the darkness they can never escape. John Wick had saved a life, honored a debt, done something good. But goodness has a price in the underworld. And eventually, that price always comes due.